கமாண்ட் யூஸ் பண்ணி பண்றதுக்கு அது கொஞ்சம் தெரிய
ம்.
வச்சிருக்கும்.
ஓகே.
மற்றபடி நீங்கள் நடத்தின ஸ்பார்க்கு ஸ்கூப் எல்லாத்தையும் வந்து நம்ம பிபிடி வச்சுருக்கோம். அதுக்கு வாரம் கிளாஸில் ரிவைஸ் பண்ணி
ஓகே.
இது வந்து இப்போ அட்டன் பண்ணக்கூடிய இன்டர்வியூவில் ஒரு 60-70% வந்து கொஞ்சம் கிளியராக இருக்குது. இன்னொன்று ட்ராபேக் என்னன்னா வந்து லைவ்ல இப்போ பண்ணுறாங்கல்ல டெவலப்பர்ஸு,
ஓகே.
அதை பண்ணி முடிச்சு ஸ்பார்க் சப்மிட் கொடுத்த உடனே ஸ்பார்க் எப்படி ரன் ஆகுது அப்படின்னு சொல்லி கேட்குறாங்க. அன்னைக்கு ஒரு கேட்டாங்க பிஃபோர் இந்த கோவிட் வர முன்னாடி ஒரு இன்டர்வியூவில். அப்போ
ஓகே.
வந்து இந்த லைவ் பாயிண்ட் பண்ணி பண்ணுவாங்கன்னு சொல்லி ஒரு தினேஷ் ப்ரோ அந்த பேப்பர் தினேஷ் ப்ரோ சொல்லி தந்தாப்புல அதுமாதிரி நான் சொன்னேன் நான். பட்
ஓகே.
வந்து அவங்க வந்து அதை இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் டெப்த்தாக கேட்குறாங்க ப்ரோ. அது சம்மந்தமாக கொஞ்சம் டெப்த்தாக தெரிய வேண்டியது இருக்குது. அதே மாதிரி அந்த கிளஸ்டர் சைஸ் இருக்குது பார்த்தீங்களா, நம்ம எவ்வளோ ஃபைல் சைஸுக்கு ஏற்ற மாதிரி எப்படி கிளஸ்டர் சைஸ் வந்து இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் ஆட் பண்ணுவோம், அந்த மாதிரி அந்த ஒரு சினாரியும் வந்து கொஞ்சம் டெப்த்தாக தெரிய வேண்டியது இருக்குது. உங்களுடைய ஃபைல் சைஸ் எவ்வளோன்னு கேட்குறாங்க. நம்ம அதை சொன்னோம்னா வந்து அதுக்கு எத்தனை கிளஸ்டர் அடிஷ்னலாக ஆட் பண்ணுவீங்க, எத்தனை மிஷின்ஸ் அடிஷ்னலாக ஆட் பண்ணுவீங்க, அது எப்படி உங்களுக்கு பத்தும், அது மாதிரி டெய்லி உங்களுக்கு டேட்டா எவ்வளோ வரும், இந்த மாதிரிலாம் வந்து கொஞ்சம் டெப்த்தாக கேட்குறாங்க. லைவ்ல ஒர்க் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கக்கூடிய டெவலப்பர்ஸ் கேட்குற மாதிரி கொஞ்சம் டெப்த்தாக பார்க்குறாங்க அவங்க. நம்ம பேசிக்காக சொல்கிறோம் இங்கே கற்றுக்கிட்டதை. பட்
ஓகே.
வந்து அவங்களுடைய எக்ஸ்பெக்டேஷன் வந்து பார்த்துட்டிங்கன்னா இன்னும் ரொம்ப டெப்த்தாக வேணும் அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி சொல்கிறாங்க.
சரி. ஓகே.
இந்த மூணு பார்ட் மட்டும் கொஞ்சம் டெப்த்தாக எனக்கும் தேவானந்துக்கும் நாங்கள் 2 பேரும் தான் இப்போ இன்டர்வியூ அட்டன் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கிறோம் இதில்.
ஓகே.
ஸோ இந்த 3 பார்ட், ஒன்று வந்து யூனிக்ஸ் கமெண்ட்ஸு, ஷெல் ஸ்கிரிப்ட் கமெண்ட்ஸு, நம்பர் 2 வந்து ஸ்பார்க் சப்மிட் பண்ணதுக்கப்புறம் அந்த ஸ்பார்க் ரன் ஆகக்கூடிய அந்த ஃபுல் இது கொஞ்சம்
ஓகே.
டெப்த்தாக போகிறது. 3வது வந்து இந்த இது நான் சொன்னேன்ல அந்த கிளஸ்டர் சைஸ் சம்மந்தமாக. ஸோ இந்த 3 டாபிக்ஸ் மட்டும் எனக்கும் தேவானந்துக்கும் கொஞ்சம் இம்பார்ட்டண்ட்டாக தேவைப்படுது ப்ரோ.
சரி. ஓகே. அப்போ அதை பற்றி டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ணுவோம் இந்த செஷன்ல.
தேவானந்த் உங்களுக்கு தேவானந்த், ஹலோ தேவானந்த்.
சொல்லுங்க ஜி.
ஜி, I guess you have attended. You will be attending a few of the interviews. So, is there any specific interview questions you want to get cleared? So, Dinesh should discuss the solution for that as well.
Okay, ji. Same questions as Mustafa asked. So, if those questions are cleared, then it will be okay for me.
Okay, Dinesh. So, as the session is recorded, Dinesh will continue in English itself. All those interview questions, Dinesh will continue in English. So people know, Manish and other people, all they can easily check it in English. If the Dinesh, you can continue in English itself, Dinesh. Dinesh வந்து லெஃப்ட் ஆயிட்டாரு. ஜாயின் பண்ணுவாரு. Just you can wait for 2 minutes. There is some problem in internet it seems, so he'll be joining again. Dinesh, have you joined? Dineshோட கனெக்ஷன் கொஞ்சம் ப்ராப்ளமா இருக்கு. ஜஸ்ட் வெயிட் பண்ணுங்க.
Hello.
Okay, Dinesh.
Okay, network
Hello.
problem. கேக்குதுங்களா?
Okay, okay.
Just okay.
கேக்குது Dinesh.
So எல்லாருக்குமே ஓகே, எல்லாமே இன்டர்வியூ கொஸ்டின் தானா?
Yes, Dinesh. Dinesh, Manish and other people அவங்களுக்கு தமிழ் தெரியாது, ரெக்கார்டிங்ஸை பார்ப்பாங்க, அதனால இங்கிலீஷ்லயே கண்டினியூ பண்ணிருங்க தினேஷ்.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
Okay, let me share my screen. Is it visible?
Yes.
Okay. So in Hadoop interview, mostly whatever he said, that kind of question they will be asked. That's part of your architecture. So we can divide the questions in interview for Hadoop. We can divide it into 3 types. One is the basics about your architecture and what is your project flow. That's the first 10 minutes or 15 minutes they will be go with that, and then they will be identified what is your preferable and which ecosystems are your very convenient, that they will be noticing you based on your resume as well as your answers. Based on that they will be asking the questions from that particular ecosystem, and mainly they will be expected with Spark ecosystem and Hive as well as other ecosystem one by one, and scope like that it will become. So whenever you will go for the interview, you have need to prepare about your architecture as well. That's we are going to discuss. So how the question will come, that's the percentage of value I just mentioned. So in Hadoop, they will be asked almost 30% of question. That's already I told you, like current projects and basics about Hadoop concepts and Yarn concept, how it is functioning in the backend, how the distribution is working. And they will be asked about the Hadoop commands. What are the command is available? Can anyone remember?
Hadoop commands, bro.
Yeah.
HDFS, DFS, LS for listing.
Okay.
Like is HDFS, DFS to create a directory mkdir,
Okay.
and to give the file we are using cat.
Okay.
Put command to put files from local system to HDFS.
Okay.
And get command to get the files from HDFS to our local system.
Okay. And then is it only?
No, and also regarding remove directory like RMR directory name.
Hmm.
RMR will recursively remove files in directory.
Okay.
RM will just remove the file.
Okay. If suppose I have a file with sorry, I want to remove directory which contains some files. What kind of command I need to use it?
RM -R.
Okay. So if suppose I have only directory, I need to remove it. What is the command I have to use it? I just created one empty directory. I want to remove it.
I think we can use the same command.
Okay.
RMR.
The RMR is helps for recursive operations. That is the meaning for RM-R. RM directory also you can use it. Okay. If suppose I have a data with replications of 3, I want to increase into 5. What is the command I have to use? Right? That is possible, right? So by default 3 replication, the data will be stored. I want to replicate into 5 times. How we can achieve it via Hadoop commands? Okay, simple. While putting the data, you need to include that DFS replication into number of replication number. That you have to include it. So this kind of question they will be asking you while you go for the interview. So at the runtime, how you efficiently you're handling your Hadoop environment via commands as well as your concept. Both they will be identifying with you. This is whatever I ask. The question is for simple understanding what I just raised. Okay. So likewise, they will be asked a lot of the questions to Hadoop and basics, commands. Okay. List, put, get, rm directory, change directory, move mv command is available. Move directory mvdir or mv, as well as copy cp command is available. Cat, copy to local and copy from local, and move to local, move from local. Both will be same like that only. Put and get, and tail and touch commands is there. Okay, these are all mostly you will be using. It's a frequent used Hadoop commands. So whenever they are asking the question, immediately without any doubt, you have to say that answer. That's an important. If you are stucking, they will be considered you had a practice only. You don't have any real-time practice. So please remember and do practice well, because these are all frequently you will be used in your environment. Correct? So you just want to practice it more. And then they will be asked about Hadoop basics, and nowadays they have migrated into Hadoop 3. So what is the difference between Hadoop 2 and 3? Anyone? 1 and 2? Can anyone tell me what is the difference between 1 and 2?
In Hadoop 1, there is no yarn.
Okay,
Hadoop 2, we use yarn.
okay. And then? Is it only the difference? Single point of failure. So in Hadoop 1, once the job is failed or the name node is failure, we cannot enable and do that operation. But Hadoop 2 is possible. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so that's the one thing. And another one is MapReduce will not be functioning with Hadoop 1. So the MapReduce only will functioning with Hadoop 1, but in Hadoop 2 we will be go with instead of MapReduce as well. And we will be use it for ecosystems. So that in backend they will be using that MapReduce concepts. Okay, so all the ecosystem was received after Hadoop 2x version only, not in Hadoop 1x. Are you clear? And yarn, how it is functioning? Yarn, what is the meaning? Sorry, no, they will not ask a simple question. If it is the job is running, okay, where we can see the data like that, they will be asking you, and how many jobs is completed. That all we can see in that yarn mode. While you are submitting your Spark job, also you will be submitting to yarn, and how much resource was allocated for the particular job. That you can identify, right? That are a combination with Spark and other ecosystem integration. So yarn mostly relevance to your operations. So while you're submitting the job, how long it will be take, and this kind of question they will be asking that yarn. So directly we don't have any correct answer how long it will be take, because the timeline we will not be assured. If suppose you will be running multiple job, so we don't have any other resources, then it will be waiting the queue. Once the resource is released, then only you can schedule your job, right? So that kind of things we have to go with the trial and error practice and inform them. So blindly we will not be assured them, okay, this much resources will be assigned like that, because they also know very well. So this is the correct answer. Are you getting my point? Hello.
Yes, yes. Getting.
Okay. Any questions from your end? Any doubts? Okay, later we will discuss one by one. After Hadoop, that definitely they will move into Apache Spark. That's mainly they will be targeted with you. If it is a Scala or Python, they will be asking you and confirm before itself. If it is Scala, then they will be go with programming language with 10% of questions. Even for Scala or Python, whatever, they will be go with minimum 10% of question, which is that programming language, because they want to know how efficiently you know about the programming, because Spark you just developed on top of the programming language only. So if you have a proper programming knowledge, then only you can handle it. So that's the way they will be thinking, and will ask you with the 10% of minimum questions in programming language, whichever you mention. If it is Scala will be now it look like simple, but in depth it have a lot of things as available, because day by day they will be increased and everything they will be used in the backend. So it's look like a functional programming only. So whatever you will be providing the command is very simple, but actual real time practice while you are tried out, it's big actually, because everything will be in backside. They will be used with Java. Am I right? So whatever the command map or whatever you will be used, or some any functionality that you are going to use it in Scala backend, they will be asked for lambda functions, higher order functions, and anonymous functions, and what is the difference between that higher order function, anonymous function, and just the companion object, and so a lot of things is available. So such kind of Scala question they will be asking you. That's for your concept basis, the programming, how efficiently you will be handle it. And sometimes they will be providing the paper and write the command itself. So you don't want to waste their time, simply you just want to write in very slow. So let's say for example, they are asking work on program. You don't want to slowly writing that, because you're wasting their time as well as your time for interview. Maximum the time of interview will be in 40 minutes to 1 hour. More than 1 hour, they will not be going out. If they will be go with more than 1 hour, definitely they will be selecting you, because you have satisfied at least 1 hour with them, right? So that's one base trick. They will be thinking about it and they will be selecting you. Okay. So try to sit together with your panelists and to convince them at least 40 minutes to 1 hour. That's the probability you will be selected for that particular interview. If less than 20 minutes, 40 minutes, then it's a dilemma. You may saying answer is good, but the panelist will not know the answer correctly. He had a different answer, right? Sometime, because whatever he will be put in that mind, that answer he will be expected. Am I right? Whatever, overall. So that's mostly will be happen. So you just want to sit and inform them for at least 40 minutes. You need to survive with them. That's an important. 40 minutes to 1 hour. If it is interview is gone, mostly you will be selected. I'm sure, because you just satisfying with them and adjusted. But that's based on number of questions. If let's say for example, as I informed before, if he is asking for work on program, if you're taking to write the command for 20 minutes or 15 minutes, it's a waste of your time and his time. They will not be considered. So within a 2 minutes or 3 minutes, you have to return it. So that's handwriting is not a matter. What is concept you understand? Correct? That they will be expected. So when don't waste your time as well as their time in interview. Little crispy and short answer they will be expected mostly. Are you getting my point? Any question? These are all the generic I'm saying, and still I didn't go with that programming on Spark that questions. Guys, do you have any question? Are you understand my hello? Whatever I'm saying, that's a real panelist from the point I'm saying to you.
Yeah, we got it. Thanks.
Okay, after Spark and the programming, they directly move to SQL based concepts. So in SQL, what you are doing that everyday operations. So how many SQL commands you know, they will be tested with some validations with the joins mostly, and something else is available. So minimum 3 tables joins they will asking you, or something little different thinking they will be. Instead of that getting the output, what is the way we can avoid it? It's like a not operator used to something. So a lot of questions they will be asked, to whatever they will be put in that mind, that will come to you at present. So that will come with SQL and some data handling operation. If data is available, how we can go, how we can migrate with, if null value is available, how we can overwrite it. So something such like of question they will be asking you. If date format is available, date format will be timestamp properly is not available. How we can applying the regex operations. but Spark and Spark SQL. So that they will be asking SQL comes with Spark as well, right? So that is will come with 20% of question. And other ecosystems like Hive and Kafka, that all will come to 10 to 20% of question because they need to know the concept. Am I right? So what is the use of this? Like that they will be asking you, and everything as a, it's not a hands-on there. They will be asking mostly with um, scenario-based question they will be asking you, or some configuration-based questions they will be asking you. While they'll ask about the SQL, other time they will be include Hive as well. So SQL BI will come with Hive also. Apart from Hive, Spark, other ecosystem will go with 10%, but based on the requirement. If he need that particular developer for that particular ecosystem, the question will be varied. So let's say, for example, only for Kafka developer they need, then 30% question will go with Kafka, 20% in Spark, and 10% in SQL calls. Like that, they will be modified. Okay, depends on your project requirement. So that is will be mentioned in your description, and you want to know before going to the interview what is the primary like that you need to understand with them. Without blind knowledge, if I go for the interview, then it's waste. So whenever you will be schedule the interview, just go through with the descriptions and then decide. Because whatever they will be mentioned, and if simply they in the first line they will be mentioning Hadoop developer, but inside they will be asking for Java development. The people should know about Angular JS and String Hibernate, blah blah blah, something they will be mentioned. But in Hadoop, that title only they will be mentioning is Hadoop developer. So you must know what kind of uh, uh, environment they will be used and what kind of architecture they have used, because that HR also will not know what is that ecosystem they are using, right? Like that. Blindly they will mention Hadoop developer, they will be copy and paste. So such kind of situation will be happening. So very clear to know overall is scheduling the interview. You just must ask them. First question is what is their expectation like that? Whether it is a Spark or other. You just want to know that first thing. And whenever interview will be scheduled, if people will be huge, then they will be maintaining with the filtration condition. So in first, they will be go with that written testing. Once it is cleared, those overall is clear, then only they will be scheduled for with panelists. Mostly it's happening like that only. Okay. So these are also way they will be approaching it. So you need to prepare it and then go for that interview. Are you clear? Yeah. And then Linux basics. So few Linux commands they will ask. That's at the end of the time they will be asking mostly. Not for the beginning they will be asked. While they will be complete the interview, they need to identify with you if any other skills you have anything, then they will go with Linux basic commands. So 90% is completed, then only last 10 minutes they will go with it. They have to finish it. Okay, mostly the people will go interview with like this one, right? So that's I'm sharing. This all is my experience. I'm sharing with you all. Okay. So in SQL, I just mentioned what are the question will come. I just providing some key points. So key constraint, how it will be used, and data modeling, what kind of data model will be implemented, DDM, DDL, and DML, and DCL is available. So what are the command will come, and based on that, how you're going to achieve it. And while selecting the table and joins, that they will be asked minimum 3 tables of joins and pivoting. So mainly they will be asked in pivot also. Even Spark pivoting also they will be asked. So that pivot questions, how you're doing the pivot options, and subqueries, how that subquery inner and outer subquery is available, what kind of inner subquery when we have used and when we are using outer subquery, and what is the use of that, like that they will be asking. And date and window function. So if I have a date column, that date column I need how I can retrieve it. If suppose that date column combined with the string, how I can extract that particular record, like a regular expression operation, how we can achieve it. And then window function, ranking, min max value, and lead lag, these all will be asked in that ranking and window functions. Okay, so it's based on the window. So it will be slicing the data with windowing, as well as based on that they will do some aggregation and providing the output. Okay, so instead of window function, how we can achieve it like that also they will be asked. Second top, second salary, that are all mostly they will be asked in that interview. So that kind of questions you have to answer it. And expected in query languages, MySQL, Teradata, PL SQL or MS SQL. So both mostly these four is used nowadays. So they will be asking the interview questions with this four programming language, sorry, SQL query languages. And any expected BA tools that you have worked with that Informatica Talent, Ab Initio or SSIS, whatever. How, what are the concept you will be used? They will not be go with that particular task what you have done like that, but they will be asked with what is the concept you will be applied, what is the difference between star schema, snowflake schema, how you will be implemented, and fact and dimensional differences. So such kind of questions they will be asking you. And okay, so these are all in your BA related questions there will be. Any question here? Guys? Any question do you have here?
I guess there is no questions, Dinesh.
Okay. So this is a sample question how will be used. And nowadays they will be using Snowflake as a cloud DB. They will be using it. Salesforce, Snowflake integrations, and Redshift. These are all the cloud based. They will be asking you. Just know about it as well. Okay. So difference between all types of key I just mentioned. Mostly they will be asking while you're doing the data modeling. This kind of key constraint you have to apply it. And the SQL joins, what kind of SQL is available, joins is available. So all types of joins, they will be asking you. In such cases, they will be try to approach your left join operation or inner join operation with the inner join or left join. They will be modify the joins, but you need to achieve it correctly. How we can do that things. So such kind of question they will be asked. So join mostly they will be preferred and they will be checking with your SQL skills. Okay. And the SCD concept. SCD type 1, type 2, what is the difference, rigid and history. So that are all they will be asking you. So just go through with SQL. Mostly the developer have knowledge with SQL. That's an important after programming, because whatever the data that you are going to handle it, that will be in structurist mostly in your environment. So mostly they will be thinking and ask you in SQL manner. So please prepare about SQL basics. And Linux. Okay, later part I will come to the Linux, and now I just go with Hadoop. Hadoop basic commands under configuration. What kind of file is available? How many daemons is running? What are the daemon? What kind of service it will be doing? That particular daemon. If suppose the particular daemon is failure, what will be happen? And what is the functionality of your Zookeeper, how it is working with your, and what is the heartbeat size and block report and block size, and how many mapper will be raised. This kind of question they will be asking you. On yarn architecture, already I told you like how the resource will be allocated. That all they will be asked with your yarn architecture. And then concept of Hadoop daemon. So what are the Hadoop daemon is running? Anyone? Anyone can tell me what are the daemons are running?
Name node, data node.
Okay. There's only two.
Sorry. Task manager.
Task manager, if you are saying task manager, they will be consider you had only practical. Because reality task manager is not available Hadoop 2. Instead of task manager, we will be using node manager. So whenever you are using the words, please be clear in that your words. Because based on the words, they will be thinking and ask you. Is this task manager is available in Hadoop? Like that, they will be asking you. So Hadoop 2x version, we don't have task manager. Instead of that, we will be using node manager. Same like job tracker, we will be using with resource manager. Okay. So name node, data node, secondary name node, resource manager, node manager. If the job is running application master, we can see as well as that history, job history server. So these many daemons are running the backend. So what is the use of name node, data node, like that they will be asking you. If it is supposed going to be failure in name node, what will happen? How that secondary name node will take the responsibility. So what will be happen in the backend, like that they will be asked. If suppose data node is going to be failure, how we are going to retrieve the data and continue our business. So that they will be asking. Okay, these are all the common questions. Mostly they'll be. And how many times it will be take the interval to validate with your name node and data node. Who is doing this all kind of monitor operations? These are all the basics. Clear?
Bro, regarding the Spark interface, how to explain that
Regarding Spark?
interface?
Okay.
If they ask regarding Spark interface, how we need to explain that
Spark integration that you're asking.
interface?
Just come again. What is Spark interface you mentioned?
Yeah, if they're asking like what is the Spark interface means, how we can able to answer that? Deva.
Yeah, so he's asking like which interface you will be using for a Spark code.
The environment you are saying.
Yeah. Environment.
Environment, 3 types of environment is available. So that's now if Spark we can consider as a 4. So Cloudera we can go, Mapper we can go, as well as Hortonworks is available. Apart from that, if it is a Spark, they will be special separately. They are using is Databricks. Databricks separately is only for Spark, right? So like that you can achieve it. If it is you will be going to use in the cloud environment, cloud they will be connected and providing you that as a compile package environment to you. So directly you will be going to open it and try to execute your all the commands. So if it is a Cloudera you have to provide the access, and that's based on your edge node access. So directly they will not be providing for all the environment to you. Instead of that, they will be creating edge node, and there they will be providing access to you. So whenever the query will be shoot into Hadoop environment, via edge node it's going to be reached. The reason behind, if suppose by mistakenly you had something wrong with your node cluster, then entire the Hadoop is going to be down. That's what they will not be used like that. Instead of they will be providing you as a edge node cluster. There edge node you will be providing all your comments and whatever the testings that you will be submit from that. That submission will be going to reach one in Hadoop environment. Okay.
Yeah.
So
like
they'll be asking more questions in Cloudera.
not
Because we are not sure, we haven't worked with Cloudera, so that's why.
So that's first time while you're going to meet the panelists at the time itself, you have to inform what kind of distribution you have used. Cloudera is kind of distribution. You just inform them. So this is I'm using Cloudera. This version I am using. Like that, you just inform to them. So based on that, they will be think and I will ask the question. If suppose he didn't use the Cloudera environment, the panelists, then they will not be asking more questions there. Otherwise, he will ask a lot of questions with you on that. And mostly the people that project will be go with the Hortonworks and Cloudera. So no need to worry. If it is a cloud environment, then Hortonworks they will be choose most. If it is normal transaction on-premise integration or banking transaction related, then they will be go with Cloudera. So 90% the company will be moving to Cloudera as well as Hortonworks.
Do they use anything like a shell environment?
Yeah, that shell environment, that's a edge node cluster. There you have to submit your command, Spark submission command, whatever, via shell script. Making the scheduler right, everything you will be moving via that edge node environment only. Once you submit it, automatically it will be considered and will be moved into your Hadoop environment and make it proper schedule. That's we are using a lot of scheduler, right? Uzi will be used, Autosys, and Control-M, and Airflow nowadays is very trending. So that's they will be used and scheduling your job. After that, it will be maintaining all your operations. Yeah.
Okay.
So Hadoop interview question, project explanation, that's a major thing. So 10 minutes, you just take it out. More than 10 minutes, it's not required. If they'll ask anything, you will be provided, sorry, if you need to explain about your architecture, entire, whatever it is, you need to complete your project explanation within a 10 minutes maximum, say. Because if you are taking more time in project explanation, he will know about your capability while you're explaining the project explanation itself. He just noticed what kind of question will be raised. So don't give that opportunity to him. But we have another one option is called whatever we know, we can include our project explanation. What are all we know very well the code commands that we can include. Let's say, for example, I'm working with Hive and Spark integration only mostly. So I can inform them in project explanation itself and raising that Hive and Spark continuously. He will be mindly settled with to ask the question with Hive and Spark only. So he will first he will be asked the question Hive and Spark. Like that, you can convert him to your environment as a flexibility. That's one thing is available because within a short time he will be not a lot of question, right? But within a short time you may forget and this all okay, I will ask the question like that. He will be started. So how you will be mindly, you will be trained and pulling them to your environment. That whatever that flexible environment, you can convert it. That is also possible. Okay. So that's based on your resume. That's what that resume, the important keywords, whatever you have used, you will be mentioning with some bullet points or whatever as a bold letters. So immediately he will be screening your resume. At the time he will be noticed. Okay, again he is going to be looked with your resume only to know about you while you are saying the answer. So what are all very well that you mention to that bold and bullet points, then he will be come to your circle. Not in his circle, you will not be moved. Are you getting my point? This is an important. Once he enter into your environment, then it's flexible to you and sync with him properly. Are you clear, guys? Any doubts?
Yes, clear.
Yeah, because I'm the panelist, I'm going to ask the question with you. Let's say you know very well Hive and Spark. Okay. So you just mention your resume with all Hive and Spark mostly, and then only a few others ecosystem you just mentioned. But whatever you mention, you must know very well. Even for a single word you have used, you must know that keywords. Because I just know the bullet point. Let's say for Hive, then I will be mentioning partitioning, bucketing, and then external table, internal table operations, and how we can interact it with the Spark environment. Such kind of uh, details you will be provided in your resume. You will be considered, and immediately you will be asked any question. Because at the runtime, some question will be come to the mind, right? That the panelists will be go with that. So actually what you are doing, you just mesmerizing him and bring to your circle. That is the way. So mostly it will be take to minimum 20 minutes to 30 minutes, this kind of. After 30 minutes it's over, then 30 minutes he will be divert to his question. There we can adjust him and we can provide some satisfied answer with him also. That is also possible. Are you clear?
Yes, bro. Yeah.
So this one is an interview tricky that I'm saying. Because I know very well I'll be the panelists have very good with other ecosystem also. But whatever that is an important to migrate him. That's an main thing. Suppose you don't know answer clearly, then frankly saying I didn't meet this kind of scenario in my project. I didn't use it. But that's completely different. For the simple question, if you're saying the answer, he will be considered, he will not text anything properly. But if something is difficulty, right? Maybe they will be raising their own question. At current time, they will be you faced with some interview, sorry, faced with some project issue, right? That also they will be bringing to you during the interview. Okay, this kind of scenario has happened. What you are going to do it, right? That is possible, right? Because he doesn't, the panelist doesn't get the answer, so he may be tried with your interview, right? So if you know the answer, you can provide the suggestion. If you don't know the answer, you just frankly say it to him. I didn't meet this kind of scenario like that. Because what will be happen? You just trying to answer him, but that's not completely suitable with them. He know okay why how it is working like that. They will be thinking mentally. So don't waste your time. That's an important and panelist time. Think in both places and go for further questions. Okay, are you getting my point?
Yes.
Because these are all is reality. Really, it will be happen. That's what. Okay. And then why we are planning to move Hadoop environment? This is a common Cloudera version and its component version. Everything you must know. If you're mentioning Cloudera version properly, then that all the ecosystem it come to that is a proper one version only. So you must know and inform to them. Okay, Cloudera 5.13, I'm using 1x and 2x this version. Blah 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 something. Lot of ecosystem you have, right? All the version you should be sync with the proper Cloudera version. Because if version is modified, the ecosystem version also modified. So there few people will be stuck and confused. So just think about it and go with it. And about your cluster, how much cluster he asked, right? What is your cluster size and how? Based on your data, you can inform them. Two type of cluster you will be used. One is dev and another one is production. So dev minimum 5x into 10x of productions. Sorry, production is 5x and 10x of dev and Raman. Let's say, for example, you are using 5 node cluster, then production should be in 50 node or 100 node cluster. So like that, the cluster size will be available. So based on that, you must know on data size, day by day volume they will be asking you. So day by day volume, you must know based on your data as well as the trial basis. And it should be matched with your practical, real, right now you're working with your project, right? That whatever apart from a Hadoop also, you just migrate into Hadoop environment. So you will be used only in SQL. SQL you will be using 5 tables, you make some joins. So let's say for example, 5 tables, you have 100 GB of data. Those 100 GB of data with replication 3 will be in 300 GB of data, you will be migrated to Hadoop. And day by day volume, you know incrementally how you will be injected. So that calculation you need to provide. Day by day, I'm receiving 10 GB or 12 GB of data. So this is all I'm providing for suitable answer. So based on day by day volume and your problems, business problem, based on that Hadoop cluster will be designed. Okay. So if you are receiving day by day only 2 GB of data, then you don't want a big cluster. You can go with the development environment and small cluster itself, right? So that all is based on your actual business problem and real time, whatever you're working, you must note the tables and you just migrate into Hadoop practice. That's an important. Then only you can flexibly you provide the answer to them. Because whatever you know, you may forget it, right? Whatever you'll be tried. But if it is relevant to your business problem, you can remember all the table you can remember at the runtime, you can answer to them. Are you getting my point? Guys, are you okay? Shall we go next?
Yes, Dinesh, yes.
So how data will be distributed and log informations, and this is like how you load 3 GB in a block. So while you are loading that 3 GB of data, how many mapper will be created? Sorry, how many block size will be allocated? What is the difference between input split and another thing? What is that? Uh, block size and input split, how it will be assigned, and how you are going to retrieve the data via MapReduce, this kind of, okay. If project directories already exist, how will we inject via scope? You meet the question, right? I think. So these are all will be mostly they will be used. And a Hadoop stack end-to-end explanation, end-to-end what you are doing, how you are returning the data. This is all they will be asking you. And high availability, how it's high availability working, and the role of secondary name node functionality, and HDFS data you will be retrieved. So what are the way we can retrieve Hadoop data? Via we can get command, we can add command, we can retrieve the data. Anything else? We have web HDFS is available, and REST API integration also. We can possible to retrieve the data from HDFS. Okay, that are all practical. It will come. And zip format or compressed data is available in Hadoop. How we are going to handle it? And types of scheduler in Yarn. So what kind of scheduler? So fast scheduler and capacity scheduler. What is the difference in between that? These are all the basic questions they will be asking. So these are all the configuration files available in environment, core site, SDFS site, Yarn site, map produce site, and master and slave. So these are all the base configuration files. So with respect to this configuration, Hadoop will be supporting it. So 1 and 2 map reduce, that's the difference I just mentioning here. And blocks and input street. So that's the I'm saying. So if I'm suppose I'm going to load 3 GB of data, how many block will be allocated? What is the block size? Default block size. Can anyone?
One 128 MB.
Okay, suppose I need to load my data with 1 GB block size. How we can achieve it? Okay, just Google it. So based on the block size also, we can load the data. So let's say, for example, I have 3 GB of data. I'm going to load into 3 block only. So each I need to store as of saying 1 block, 1 GB of block, right? So that is manually we can achieve it. So such kind they'll be asking you. That's they need to know about your deep knowledge in Hadoop and Rocket. But you will not be doing in practical, but they will be asking you about the deep knowledge of it.
The data storing inside the block regarding that.
Yeah, by default 128. I suppose I want to store the data with 512 MB or 1 GB for blocks. Then how we can achieve it? So that are all the basic questions one. Okay, like replication I said right before. So if it is a 3 replication, I need to store into 5 replication. How we can achieve it? So like this discussion will go. And Spark. So Spark architecture, runtime architecture, they will ask you. I think Dinesh Pandyan will take that runtime architecture flow. I think so, right? So and then Python and Scala programming language, how we are going to efficiently handle it. And then hoops concept, whatever it's a Scala or Python, whatever, they will go with the basics of hoops concept, how we are going to retrieve it. And then jobs and stages. While you're submitting your Spark jobs, how it will be split and jobs will be created. When stages will be created. So what is the difference between that narrow and wide transformations, right? And they will be provided some scenario on what are the transformation you will be used. And RDD and data frame and data set. So 3 they will be asked, and mostly they will be go with a data frame. Okay, and whenever they ask the questions in interview, you try to answer him with the data frame view. Don't go with Spark SQL. Mainly they will be think about it. If you are going to answer with them in Spark SQL, they know you don't have much knowledge in programming. You got my point, right? So directly after Spark architecture, they will go with the data frame questions in Spark transformation question. If you're trying to answer with them in Spark SQL, they will be considering indirectly, you will be informed to them, I don't have much knowledge in programming like that. So whatever you will be provide the query spark.sql of select star from whatever you mentioned, you know you don't have any program basic knowledge. Then immediately come out to programming concept and programming questions. So try to answer with him in data frame manner. So if you will be mentioning a filter or whatever, you just want to select, then select transformations available. Filter transformation available. Group by transformation. And what is that? As well as actions is available. Everything you just inform to him based on your data frame. Then only he can say you must know something about your programming based transformation. Okay, please be very careful in that. Any question? Guys, any question here? I will tell you the Spark submission how we are doing environment. Apart from any other question?
Bro, if you are reading a file from some RDBMS with the help of Spark,
Okay.
in front end we are giving like a c.x file and the file path name. After that,
Okay.
we are assigning the task like we need 3 replication, 4 replication likewise. During
Okay.
at that time, what will be there running in the backend? Likewise, if they ask, how can
You
we
have
able
a
to?
RDBMS file, so
Yes.
you have to migrate RDBMS data onto Hadoop environment, right?
Yes, with the help of Spark, I am reading.
Okay.
In front end, we are doing that the sc.x file and the file path name, everything. We are doing that thing. But what they are asking means during that time, what is going to be run in your backend? Regarding that, how can we able to answer?
So RDBMS data you are going to read, and that's
Going into Hadoop,
Hadoop
yes.
environment,
Yes, yes,
right?
sir.
So
Yes, sir.
RDBMS data while you are going to read it, so what will be happen in the backend?
Yes,
It's
bro.
going to be call your connectivity jobs, everything. Let's say, for example, I'm taking for Oracle. Oracle, while you are going to connect it, what will be happen? Oracle support a JDBC connection, you have to provide it. And then credentiality, whatever you'll be sharing the credentials, that's going to be called in your Oracle environment. And then it will be providing the access to that particular session to get the data. Once you retrieve the data, then what will be happen? With respect to your transformation action, that will be function. So everything you can see in your DAG, that baby DAG stages, everything we can see there. How the job will be split and how it will be running in the back. And directly will be load the data without any changes. Then simple transformation will only will be function, and you can migrate the data, and storing the time will be go with some actions, right?
Yes.
So if you are doing some any aggregation or summarized output, that time based on your problem scenario, it will be created multiple map and reduce it. So that's informed before like jobs and stages here. So each stages will be separately created, and jobs, the number of job ID will be created in the backend. Okay. If it is a cluster mode, deploy mode as a cluster, then it will be run in there across your cluster, and it's going to fetch all the data from your Hadoop environment. So that all will be happen in your jobs and stages only. Okay.
Yes.
And then optimization. So what are the optimization is available in Spark? How many optimization you say? Java serialization available, locality available, and data selection, file format, data filter, also kind of optimizations only, and caches, repartition differences, collapse and repartition, and cache, and storage. Uh, what is the name? Storage level layers. So memory only, memory and disk, that kind of work, and then file format selection also kind of optimization, and the JVM serialization is a Cairo serialization or Java serializations, and when to use Cairo serialization, and that are all. is a kind of optimizations only. And based on your data, while it's going with the DAG, you can identify how the DAG will be running, how we can efficiently modify it, and how we can skip that already running the jobs, right? So that are all we have to identify. Mm, and explaining the plan, how it's going to be run in the backend, the entire explain plan you can validate. Based on that, you can do your analysis and distribution types of way you will be distributed. Let's say for you have a 10 node cluster, then you can make some data distribution with the 10 or 5, then it's good, right? So based on that distribution, you can select it and size of your cluster data, and final output how much will come you have summarized, right? So while summarizing the data, it will be produced very less or very huge. So because while you're doing multiple joins, it will be producing the different way of output, right? You have a 4 GB of data, it will be expanded to 16 GB. Or if it is you have a 4 GB of data, it will be reduced to 2 GB only in summarized output. So two way will be happen. So data expanding and data reduced, both will be happen in that localization. So that you need to know how it will be happen. So first time you have to go entirely with a trial and error, and then you can allocate your memories. So what is that? Garbage GC collection memory will be raised at the time, as well as executor memory, driver memory issues, and number of core selections and a number of executor selections and worker node how it will be functions. And if suppose driver memory is filled, how we can overwrite it and how continuously we can clean up the old data while it's unzipped. So the sorry, while it's completed the job, it's not used again. Then how we can clean up. So these all you have to identify based on trial and error manner, and properly while you're going to schedule it, that environment will be supported to you. Because while whatever you have tried the practice, that will be in your environment. While you're going to submit in your scheduler mode, scheduler will not have access for your files. So how we can provide it without any deletion, how efficiently we can handle it. And by 3 replications available while running it, if it is going to be failed any job, how we can override, and the exceptions handling, try catch block will be scheduled, what are all the scenario will be facing some failures. These are all we have to inform to them. Because suppose job is failure but it's not released the memory, then it will be locked, right? So everything you have to identify in optimization. Now I'm come to your question. That's you said right before, how we can calculate the cluster sizes, everything. Let's say for example I have a 5 node cluster. Mm, each have 8 cores and 16 GB RAM. Okay, so total how much cores available?
Totally 5 nodes, right?
Yeah.
5 into 8, 40 cores.
So 40 cores is available, as well as 80 GB of RAM
8
is
GB
available,
of RAM, yes.
right? So directly you will not be used in your environment. So 5 node cluster means 5 nodes are running. So for local you have to provide 1 node. So minus for each 1 core you have to allocate for your internal OS. Okay, are you getting my point?
Yes, yes, I'm getting.
So internal OS you have allocated, then only you have 30 GB of cores available max. So next RAM we need to consider it. How much we can consider? Any guess? Hello.
Yeah, RAM for single node.
That is I'm asking how much we can allocate it. Mostly very less is not available because you have 8 core. So I just make mention with 64 GB of RAM. So 5 int. So close to 320 is available, right?
Yes.
So internal OS minimum 1 is enough. 1 GB minimum we can provide. So total you have actual size of your cluster is 35 core as well as 315 GB of RAM is available. So based on that, you have to make some selections. So each node you can provide number of executor minimum. How much we can provide? Any guess? So concurrency based, we can provide minimum 3 to 5 executors. So what will be the output? Divided by, so 7 executor per node you can provide it properly. Maximum you can provide this much only. Okay. And then RAM unit allocate. How we can allocate it? 7 executors available per executor. So 7 executor maximum we can bring it out. So each executor we can provide with 315 of GB of RAM. So 45 GB of RAM per executor you can provide it. Okay,
Yes.
are you getting?
Yes.
So we can mentioning executor number of executor mentioned and we executor memory 45 GB we can provide it. This is executor memory. So driver memory how much it will come? And with respect to your executor memory of 0.7 percentage of 7 to 9 percentage. Okay, I will mentioning is 9 percentage of garbage collection is available. So you can mentioning with 45 plus 4 times of your garbage collection sizes. So almost 46 is very simple. I'm just mentioning. Likewise, you can collect it for your driver memory. So now I have received number of executor. I can mention here. This is a number of executor, and this is for executor memory. And this is for driver memory. Okay. So rest of that mostly in default will be available. This is the base you can calculate it. Okay. So this is mostly they will be asked in interview. So total number of executor as well as executor memory and driver memory. If you are making this kind of calculation and inform to him, he maybe consider you know something about it. He had some calculations. Okay.
Yeah, got it. Thanks.
So this is executor memory is 45 maximum, not 0.05. Clear? Any question? The very less I just mentioned, or better I can mention with 2% of 3%. Okay. So almost 50 GB. I just provide you simple. This is a garbage. By default, 1 GB is available. More than 1 GB only will be considered. If it is less than 1 GB, then default will be considered as 1 GB of cache memory. Okay. So
Yeah.
based on your data size, it will be that's the default document is available. Based on that, you can provide your percentage value. So 10 percentage is 4.5. So 63 you can provide for driver memory. Because all the data finally shuffled output will be stored in this driver memory only. There it's providing the output to you. So please be careful while selecting your driver memory and executive memory. Okay, clear?
Yes.
Any question? Okay, so such kind of Spark submission you have to calculate it, and Spark submission, Spark submit script you have to provide with shell script. So that's must know about basic knowledge of your shell script command. Then only you can achieve it. So like shell script, ls, and a lot of things you have used, right? How you are going to achieve it? So mostly they will be create the shell script and execute in that parent environment only. So just Google it, shell script. You will get a lot of shell script examples. You must do some practice, and then in shell script you can include Spark command and submit to them. That only will be happen. Okay. Is this any questions? Is this any question? You have some idea, right?
Yeah, as of now, we got some idea regarding these clusters and
Okay.
Spark, everything.
So these many questions will come from Spark, so drivers, Spark submission architecture, and that resource allocation for memory that are that just before we had discussed. RTD data from dataset, customized partitioning, types of partitions available, custom range partition, what is the difference between that, and performance issues as well as Spark outperform and mention some of the areas Spark, okay, and Hadoop, how it's going to be function, to RDD, types of RDD, and how, when while using the particular transformation, what type of RDD will be raised, and what are the methods of creating RDD. So that's the three types available that are all, and what is lineage graph, partitions, and catalyst framework actions, persist. That's I just mentioned storage level persist, as well as cache difference and performance technique. Whatever we have discussed, everything will come to performance technique only. And schema already is nothing but is data frame and Spark context, Hadoop map reduce, as well as Spark run on job in Yarn. So driver mode, cluster mode, and client mode. Two types we can execute it. What is the difference in between that? And DAG algorithm, lazy evaluation, as well as partitions and slices, what is happening in the backend, and map transformation while you reused, what will be happen, how you convert from the data frame to RDD again, the reverse manner they will be asking you, and actions and how we will be working with you. Write a query for collections and Spark imported command from native languages. So integrations. While you will be going to use Scala or Python, how it's going to be native language will be integrated with your Spark environment, how we can create the collections. So how we are going to retrieve the data from the collections, and tuple, list, uh, set, dictionary or map. So what is the use of that? That kind of they'll be asked. And broadcast and accumulator or shared variable. What is that? And coalesce. How will be implemented in coalesce? So coalesce is nothing but what is that coalesce? Coalesce and repartitioning you will be seeing, right? So that kind of questions. It will be compressed to number of uh, cluster that transformation, so you can reduce it. So that is the use of colors and repartitions. So this kind of question, these are all the sample. From the sample, you'll get at least 120 to 30% of question will be raised. Okay. So other ecosystem preferred by Hive, they will be Go first, Kafka, Scoop, and then HBase. Mostly they will be go with this kind of only. So Hive, they will be preferring the SQL itself. They will be asking you, and then they go for Kafka, Scoop, HBase. Nowadays, if you know some AD scheduler, they will be asking you, or other integration also apart from this. So if you will be going to work with the AWS cloud environment, they will ask different, because they will have their own services. So based on that, they will be asking you apart from Hadoop environment. That kind of services, not in Hadoop, but it will be integrated with Hadoop environment. So Hive questions. What are the questions? Already we have discussed, right? Tables, Hive query. So these are all the possible questions they will be asking you. You just go through with that and provide, okay, and do practice from your end. So Scoop likewise, Scoop question also I just mentioned something. Map reduce, nowadays they will not be asked map reduce, but they will be asked the concepts. So combiner, shorting, shuffling, how will be happening in the back end. So map reduce 1 and 2 job submissions in map test. These are all the basics they will be asking you. So this is all the sample. So how the combiner will be function in the back end. That's it. Any question here?
ப்ராட்காஸ்ட் அக்குமுலேட்டரும் அது என்னன்னு சொல்லி கேட்டாங்க. நான் ஆக்சுவலாக நான் கூகுள் பண்ணி பார்த்தேன், எனக்கு சரியா புரியல.
Broadcast and accumulator is kind of shared variable. It will be collected all the node interactions. So broadcast is not as an immutable variable. You will not be change the value of broadcast variable. But accumulator, whenever the query will be running, back end the accumulator will be increased. So auto increment like that only. So it's a mutable. Whenever you need, you can change also. That is possible. So while you are running your job in across the node, how it is happen the back end. That's you have to calculate, right? That one will go achieved via accumulators. Okay, it's like a global variable for simple understanding. Okay, any question?
For example, data frame in real time, let's say we fetch data from SQL Server uh, to the Spark as a data frame. So
Yeah.
that in real time, I understand that there will be a table. So for RDD, what is like how we will use in real time? For example, I can see like dot map, all those functions, but I want to know like one example in real time.
Whatever you'll be using the data frame is a backend RDD only will be functional. RDD is a base, that is a parent. Based on that, all your data frame will be functioning. Without RDD, Spark will not be functional. But the scenario I'm saying for the real time, you have a data in unstructured manner, then there you will not be directly go with data frames, or you have a collections of data. So let's say, for example, you will be store some value, right? So key values like that you will be stored. Okay, for example, transaction, you will be stored some key and value day by day, whatever you have received. So currency transaction, that information you will be stored into the particular collections, any list or dictionary, whatever you will be stored. So there you will not be directly achieved via data frame. So that kind of collections you need to migrate into RDD. From RDD to data frame you migrate, then only you can make some joins and all. So that kind of situation you have to go with your RDD. Unstructured data, mostly unstructured data you have to handle via RDD only. Okay. Any other question? If no question, we can wind up today.
Any other questions you have? That's it, I guess.
Okay, thank you all. Yeah.
Dinesh, is we are done, right?
Yeah, mostly interview, whatever they will be asked, we have it as well.
We are done,
Voice is breaking.
right?
I didn't get you, Rohan.
Okay. Oh no, we are done with the session. Are we done with the interview questions, Dinesh?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay then. So with this, we shall stop the today's session, or
Yeah, here a little noisy, so that I just thinking.
oh, okay. Okay, so we shall stop the today's session, and next session, that is yesterday's session. No, we will plan it either Monday or Tuesday, whenever Dinesh is free. No, that we shall plan it on Monday or Tuesday. I will keep you posted on that. So this video, no, you will be having it in our website, in our homepage of our website. No, you will be having here. So like. We shall we shall end up the session today. Thank you all.
Thank you, guys.